friends, welcome back to my channel. Those who are new, welcome to my channel. In our last video, we have learned about the public administration. In this chapter, we have studies about the meaning and the definition of public administration. After that, we see the importance and functions and the scope of public administration. In today's class, let us see recruitment and training. Now let us see what is recruitment. The process of sharing eligible candidate from the civil service and motivating them to compete for the civil service is called as a recruitment. An efficient administration is based on the efficient recruitment process. If a person deliver a good public service through his creativity, intelligence and positive behavior, if the recruitment process is more scientific and efficient, public administration became more efficient by having a efficient civil servants. Now let us see. Recruitment has a prominent role in the staff administration. According to O.G. Still, recruitment is a base of a staff structure. Now let us see methods of recruitment. In this area, we see that there are basically two types are there, or two methods are there. This was given by according to the staff administration and experts. They are the two types. Those are the first one is direct recruitment or external recruitment. Second one is internal recruitment or recruitment by promotions. Now let us see one by one. First one is direct recruitment. A direct recruitment is the most popular and scientific method of recruitment. Recruiting eligible candidate through the competitive exam in the fixed pattern, it is called as a direct recruitment. Eligible candidates are directly selected through the competitive exam in the fixed pattern. It is called as a direct recruitment. Here we see that the candidate needed to have some general qualifications and a specific qualification to enter into the service through the direct recruitment. When the individual was wanted to go this area means in the service, he should have some general qualification and some specific qualification. Now let us see our second method is internal recruitment. This means the selecting the eligible in-service personnel to high position is called as a internal recruitment. The most of the countries have adopted this method. India too has adopted this method of recruitment. Now let us see training. The efficiency of civil service personnel depends on the quality of training received by them. As the modern administrative functions are complex in nature, the administrative functions only through the proper training and personnel can gain the necessary knowledge to perform. When an individual got a proper and appropriate training, on that time also he can function a good administrative system. Training has a special place in public administration since the challenge of managing and running the complex technical work is a part of modern governance. The importance of training is increasing. Training is a continuous process. We are all know that training is a continuous process. We want a good administrative system. On that time we should have to good training facility also. Now let us see types of training. Basically we see that there are 5 types of trainings are there. Those are first one is formal and informal training. Second one is pre-service and post beginning of the service training. Third one is short term and long term training. Fourth one is departmental and central institute training. Fifth one is skill training and background training. Those are all the types of trainings. Now let us see one by one. Before going to that, let us see training is divided into 5 types based on the method, duration, level of the training, aims of training and institutions providing the training. Now let us see types of trainings. Our first type of training is a formal and informal training. The formal training is a training that is received by the employees which is carefully planned in the advance. This is a training is provided under the supervision of experts. This training is provided under the supervision of expert persons. Informal training means the training that an employee gain while doing his duty. An employee receive this training during his day-to-day execution of his duties. This is the formal and informal training. Now let us see second type is pre-service and post-beginning service training. The pre-service training prepare and future employees for the civil service. The post-beginning of the service training is provided to those who have been selected to the specific post. This training aims at the importing better skills and efficiency. This is all about the pre-service and post-beginning of the service training. Our third type of training is short-term and long-term training. Short-term training is of the 4 to 6 week duration. This training is only for 4 to 6 weeks. For example, the doctors are selected through the Public Service Commission to undergo with 6-week trainings. It is best example. The long-term training is continuous in the nature. The long-term training, the name itself says that it is a long-term training. It takes more time. The long-term training is a continuous in the nature and its duration would be 1 or 2 years. This training given to the candidates selected for the Indian service is the example for this type of training. It is a long-term training and it take 2 or 1 year time. Now let us move on. Our fourth type of training is departmental and central institute training. The training provided by the specific department for the candidates selected for it is called as a departmental training. For example, the police personnel training. The training provided by the central government institutions, it is called as a central institute training. For example, this training provided by Lal Bahadur Shastri National Administrative Institute in Mussoorie. It is very famous as a Labasna. Now let us move on. Our fifth type of training is skill training and background training. A training aiming at the increasing the skills of the personnel is called as a skill training. For example, the compulsory BA training for high school teachers, a training that aim at providing a general awareness, it is called as a background training. For example, the training provided by Mysore Administrative Training Institute. Those are all about the types of training. Now let us see Union Public Service Commission UPSC. Only capable people should be selected for civil service. We are all know that only capable or the responsible persons are selected as a civil service officers. The political interference and nepotism should not influence the selection process. In this area, here the selection process of civil servants, there has no interference of politics and nepotism is not. We can't see here. The public service should be kept away from the influence of policies, politics and personal agendas. It should uphold the respect and dignity of the civil service. The Constitution provides for the information of Independent Public Service Commission in order to select the required capable and honest civil servants. Now let us see structure of UPSC. Union Public Service Commission. According to Article 315 of the Constitution, there should be a separate Public Service Commission for the center and state. The 2 and 3 state can be joined the Public Service Commission also. Here we see that the central government has provided our constitution in the article 315. It provided that the separate Public Service Commission should be related to the center and state. The 2 or 3 state can be joined here in the Public Service Commission. The President appoints the chairman and members of the Central and Joint Public Service Commission. The half of the member of the Commission should have served in the government service. The tenure of the members is 6 years or attaining the age of 65 years, or whichever it earlier. The President will have the power to dismiss any member or the chairman on the ground of misconduct. The Commission works independently of the legislature and executive. A secretary works for the Commission and presently it is based at New Delhi. Now let us see functions of UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. This commission function under the Article 320 of the Indian Constitution. Now let us see some functions. Our first function is conducting exams for the recruitment of a group A and B officers of the central government. Our second function is it conduct interview for the direct recruitment. Third one is advising the central government on issue related to the promotion and transfer. Our fourth function is advising the government on initiation of disciplinary actions against earning the government employees. Our fifth function is on the direction of President, advising the government and needed issues. Those are all the functions which are done by the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. Now let us see the commission conducted exam of civil service, technical service, forest service and defense service at the national level. In those exams conducted for the civil service are more prominent. The IAS, Indian Administrative Service, IPS, Indian Police Service, IFS, Indian Foreign Service, IRS, Indian Revenue Service, IAAS, Indian Accounting and Auditing Service exam are the some important exams which are conducted here. This examination will be conducted in 3 main levels. Those are, first one is preliminary examination, second one is main examination, third one is a personality test. Those are all the levels of examination which was conducted by UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. In today's class, we have learned about the recruitment and training. In the recruitment, we learn about the meaning. After that, we see the methods of recruitment. Those are the direct recruitment and indirect recruitment. After that, we see the training. In that training, we see the meaning of training. After this, we see the types of training. In this types of training, we see the basically 5 types of trainings are there. Those are the formal and informal training, pre-service and post beginning of the service training. Third one is a short-term and long-term training. Fourth one is a departmental and central institute training. Fifth one is a skill training and background training. Those are all about the training. After that, we see the Public Service Commission. In that, we see the structure of the Public Service Commission. After this, we see the functions of the Public Service Commission and which examinations are conducted by the UPSC and what are the levels of examination which are conducted by UPSC. Those are all we have learned today's session. Thank you for watching this.